You say that's the right thing, but I've seen you all the time.
Breaks when it wants. It doesn't have a script
101 freeway's
or
clear.
a schedule, so we don't cut things short just to hand it over to network news. When the other guys go national, we stay local. This is what's going on in Southern California, here, now, as we speak. So we cut to our neighborhoods, cut to our streets, cut to our morning, cut to LA.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us back on KTLA 5. Today's date is May 23rd. I'm joined here with my co-host, Jeremy Gagos. So, Jeremy, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for asking. So, Jeremy, what's the topic that we'll be talking about today?
Mass killings and genocide. Is there anything you know about mass killings and genocide?
Jeremy, there is this one particular time. It happened in March. It's called the CMCS. Have you heard of it before?
The Christchurch mass shooting? Yeah, I remember that one. We have a professional coming in that knows all about that after this commercial break.
Well, we'll see you in a bit.
Do you want to say no to gun laws? Well, then call this number, 800-588-2305 today.
Yes, actually, most mass killings I study in particular are historical. Genocides specifically are under my belt. I tackle these mostly because I don't want them to happen again, and want to make sure we have all the signs so that we can prevent it. One of the perfect examples of how a genocide works and how it's organized and the signs commonly placed, and the one that we started it all, was the Holocaust. We all know the story behind that. It was propaganda, laws, and basically helping the people round them up because of all those things. And we have to make sure we study this strictly because what's happening now, very, very modern, is the persecution of the LGBTQ plus community in Albania, a southeastern European country. They are doing most of the same things. They're not allowed to have insurance. They're not allowed to be treated in the hospital because their disease of homosexuality. They're practically kicked out of their homes. A good example is a young man came out of the closet to his father, and his father kicked him out the very next day, gave him some food. He was gone. And it brings a lot of fear into that community because they can't really leave their homes. They're scared to leave their homes because if they're afraid groups of people will attack them, to put it bluntly. And we have to study this and make sure we keep track of the signs, because this could be another version of Rwanda. Rwanda was a country where in the span of 2 months they killed over 500,000 to 1 million people.
Span of 2 months, they killed over 500,000 to 1 million people.
Because of ethnic cleansing, the very same thing that happened during the Holocaust. It's quite disturbing, actually.
Well, Claire, thank you for all that good information.
Next, we'll be joined with reporter Stephanie Lemon interviewing some Los Angeles High School students.
I'll see you in a few. Peace.
Over 300 million guns in this country, with over 300 million people. Some of those people are evil. And evil people are a resourceful bunch who know how to commit evil acts regardless of any laws in place to prevent them from doing so. Yet, we childishly cling to gun control as the only answer to deal with this evil. While our kids go to unprotected schools with unprotected teachers and unprotected classrooms, and then are confused when our kids get slaughtered by evil people who consciously break, or in some cases, Pass every law to do it. Laws only matter to the people willing to obey them. Depending on laws to prevent random acts of murder is delusional at best and suicidal at worst. You can't legislate evil. That's the equivalent of holding up a no biting sign in front of a rabid dog and expecting it not to bite you. So instead of wasting time adding more words to our no bite sign, how about we focus on how to stop the evil when it arises? Gun-free zone signs don't keep guns out of schools, especially guns in the hands of mass murderers who aren't fazed by signs telling them they're not supposed to bring guns into schools. But you know what does? Metal detectors. Put metal detectors in our schools. You want to know why they have metal detectors in courthouses, airports, and stadiums? Because it prevents mass murderers from getting guns into these places infinitely better than a sign on a window. And if a mass murderer does try to bring a gun into a school and sets the metal detectors off, guess who should be there ready and willing to stop them? Armed guards. We use armed guards at banks, armed guards at jewelry stores. We use armed guards to protect everything we consider valuable. I can't think of anything more valuable than our kids. There should be surface-to-air missiles in front of our schools as far as I'm concerned, so armed guards shouldn't even be a question. Hell, after Columbine, I think our schools should look damn near like the X-Men Academy. These are our kids, the future of our society. There's nothing more valuable. And in the worst event that somebody gets past all of these things, the last layer of defense against these psychos should be our teachers. Let the teachers be armed if they want to be armed, instead of forcing them to become defenseless human sacrifices that still result in kids dying. Give them the power to fight back so that they can defend the kids you entrusted to protect their minds and bodies in the first place. The sad thing is, you all don't even entertain these options because we don't want evil guns in our schools and metal detectors would be unsightly. No, what it is that you don't want a visual representation of your reality. You just want to be able to continue living in your mental utopia where feeling safe is more important than being safe. We fooled ourselves into thinking that we have a right to feel safe, and we don't. We do, however, have a right to protect our lives. We are a victim of our success. We fooled ourselves into thinking that we are so progressive and civilized that we've somehow transcended the reach of evil, where virtue signaling and pacifism is more important than survival. The problem is, this threat isn't coming from the outside. There isn't some outside force shooting these schools up. It's our kids, fathers, brothers, cousins, and nephews. But you can't wrap your head around the fact that the threat is already in your house. So the idea of putting up metal detectors, having armed guards, and arming teachers is a constant reminder that no matter how progressive you become, you can't outprogress evil. You are still vulnerable, and there's nothing you can do about it except prepare. You can't march away evil, you can't shame evil away, and you can't talk to it nicely. All you can do is prepare for that moment as best as you can.
Hi, I'm your reporter Stephanie Lemon, and I'm going to be asking some people on campus about genocides and mass killings. I'm here with Audrey Davis. So Audrey, do you know what a genocide is? Yes. Okay, what do you think about genocides? They're messed up. And how can we prevent genocides? We're all equal, and we're all going to the same grave. Our next topic is LGBT killings. I'm here with Faith Wallace. Do you know what's happening in Europe? Yes, I do. So there's different vigilante groups that are killing the community. So how can we prevent killing the community? I think we can prevent it by realizing that we're all the same people. It doesn't really matter who you love or who you don't. Like, you ain't hurt anybody, so you hurt her. I'm here with Nave Knott on her opinion on school shootings. Have you heard of any recent school shootings?
The STEM school Highland Ranch in Colorado last week, I think.
Perfect. And how can you prevent school shootings in the future?
Make them as strict as abortion laws.
Our next topic is gun control. I have with me is Mayo. How you doing, Mayo?
I'm thriving. How are you?
Doing pretty good. So, what's your opinion on gun control?
I feel like it's good to have some gun control, but I feel like it's not all about it. I think it's more the person behind the gun that is the real effect.
fantastic. I agree. But back to our hosts, Jeremy and Michael. Thank you to all the people who answered my questions. Thank you.
Stop the mass killing.
Stop the mass killing.
No more mass killings. Yeah.
Stop the mass killings.
Stop mass killings.
Mass killings.
Stop the mass shootings.
Whoa. Shootings.
Mass shootings.
Thank you, Claire, for all the good information.
And to the reporters.
For all the Q&As. I'm your host, Michael Castillo.
And Jeremy Gagos.
We're signing out, KTLA 5. Join us next week when we talk about many other things. Peace.